Insert Democrat socialist here.
Runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when you're moving out. I said, when you're moving out.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Interesting development in the state of Alabama. Governor Kay Ivey pushing through school choice for all in the state of Alabama, which makes the home state of George Wallace now more enlightened than the land of Lincoln.
Yep, the 14th state, right, to do that?
Alabama is less segregated than Illinois under your glorious Democrat socialist leadership. Discussion in the General Assembly the other day, inane, as most are. Blaine Wilhauer is Republican state rep downstate. Kam Buckner is a Chicago Democrat state rep, and, Democrat socialist. And he was a candidate for mayor, you may remember.
I remember very well.
He is really just sort of a big doofus, as far as I can tell. But this was the discussion, arguing about whether or not CPS is doing a bang-up job in educating kids.
The folks in this body should be ashamed. The vast majority of the Chicago's black students can't read. They can't do math at grade level.
Because you will.
First off, much like my Chicago public school classmate, Leader Evans, I'm a little flabbergasted at the gentleman from the 110th District's diatribe. As a Chicago black student who reads very well, I will say that for those in my district who have reading comprehension issues, I would welcome the representative to refund some of the money that Chicago sends to your district to help us out.
So Chicago is the only school district in the state, not the only, but it's one of the few, certainly the biggest, that is primarily funded by state dollars, not local property tax dollars. So if you want to get into the business of refunding based on percentage that comes from local versus percentage that comes from state, Kam Buckner, CPS is going to get fleeced. So I wouldn't necessarily want to go down that road, smart guy, number one. Number two, it's a money problem. What are the numbers? We're going to get the numbers. We'll refresh our recollection. Let Ted Dabrowski give you the numbers, since he's the numbers guy and I'm just a guy who rants on the radio. But we need an incrementally more money for CPS, and that's the problem with the failure to educate kids such that they're reading and doing math at grade level. I mean, the numbers among black students is they're under 1 in 5. So just a little bit more money. Cam, how much? How much do you need to turn it all around? Love to button him on that issue, but, he's a coward. I know he played football for Illinois, but he's just a big, dopey coward.
Oh, yeah, and he wouldn't help at all during COVID and trying to get kids back
This is
on the gridiron.
This is what Kam Buckner is up to, too, in the House when he's not telling everybody how well he reads. Legislation he sponsored. This is, for you scoring at home, there's so much legislation roaming around there you'd be very proud of. House Bill 4195 requires a contractor or person employed to deliver goods from a store or restaurant through a third-party delivery service to use a non-carbon emitting mode of transportation while making such deliveries. Translation, if you use a third-party delivery service like, I don't know, Uber Eats, is that a third party? Yeah. Or one of the others that preceded Uber Eats? And you're in Cook County, because this applies to counties with a population of 3 million or more, so that's Cook County only. you got to use a bike.
What?
What's a non-carbon emitting mode of transportation?
Yeah, a bike, walking, yeah.
Yeah, bike.
Scooter, electric scooter, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
Divvy,
well, where's the I don't where's the electricity come from? It's indirectly a emitting mode of transportation. Kam Buckner is very worried about that. Among the many, many, and we've talked about some of the other great legislative measures that are bouncing around, mandating gay climate change propaganda in high school. I don't know if it's one or both, some mashup. DEI in med schools, making it easier for people in this country, in the state and country, illegally to get in-state college tuition, of course, so they can go to U of I like Kam Buckner did. But your kid with the 35 on the ACT and the 4.0 at Naperville North, sorry, he's not getting in.
Nope.
Mandate Chicago businesses hire security guards. That's on you. Provide for your security. Yeah, I thought you said tax dollars pay for my security. No, no. Then, removing Blackhawks and Redskins and all the other offensive nicknames in terms of high school mascots. All kinds of good legislation bouncing around, the kind of legislation that the majority of this state and certainly the city of Chicago support. That's why they send the likes of Kam Buckner down there. Ted Dabrowski, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
So Kam Buckner reads well. How about the rest of the current class at CPS from K through 12? How are their numbers shaking out?
Yeah, they don't do very well, and you got to wonder whether Kam Buckner reads well, but he's never reading what's happening at CPS, or he doesn't care, or he ignores it. It's hard to know, and I would like to think that a guy like Kam Buckner, as progressive as he might be or socialist, is that he would care about. I mean, this list of schools where 0 kids can read. You go to Hirsch Metropolitan High School, 0% of the black kids there can read at grade level. 0 can do math at grade level. Chicago Excel Academy, I like that name, Excel Academy, 0% and 0%. Fenger, 0 and 0. Dunbar, 0 and 0. Austin College, 0 and 0. I can just go down the list. Kids can't read, they can't do math, and and it's broader than that when you look at just by South Side and West Side. On the South Side, just 8% of kids can do math at grade level. On the West Side, it's 7%. And Southwest Side, 7%. In other words, these kids are going to fail. I mean, obviously, some of them will rise out of this, but most will be trapped. And a guy like Buckner, he's a law school grad. He's a football player, Illinois. He's a successful guy by his own measures. And he had a chance to maybe not take on the state rep from downstate, Representative Willauer, but instead of taking him on, he could have said, "Hey, let's do something." Of course, that would never happen. He would never agree with Willauer from a political perspective. But these are chances for these guys to get engaged in the failure of CPS, and they don't.
No, they just say that. What failure? What failure are you talking about? And to the extent there's any failure, it's more money. I mean, it's worked for this long. They're sitting in the supermajority. Why would they stop? Why would they stop?
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you about, speaking of the CTU and CPS, this Friday, they're taking the kids out of school to march to the polls. It's called the Parade to the Polls. So they're going to have a little party, listen to political organizers and politicians and candidates, and then march to the polls. Is this legal for them to take kids out of school to do this?
Well, they're claiming it's a nonpartisan thing. We're just teaching them about civics and engagement and voting.
Yeah.
But I tell you, people should see how well organized these guys are. I mean, not only are they so well organized as a union, but then they're going in and taking the students out, taking them to learn how to vote and show them how to vote, take them to a rally. Part of that rally right now includes the Bring Chicago Home people who will say we need a tax hike on the sale of big buildings in Chicago. And, the kids will learn and then, hopefully vote for that, and they become very good future CTU members.
Did you read this thing?
Yeah, there's one wrinkle to it, though. I mean, they're going to need some aid if and when they do vote because they can't read. So you want to make sure they select the right candidates.
But they're so seductive in this letter that they wrote. Like, do you remember your first time voting? Were you nervous, excited, confused at what to do? Well, we have an answer for you. I mean, it's so disgusting.
That's the thing that most ordinary Chicago residents have no clue of. I mean, of course they buy into most of this, but they also just don't know this stuff happens, and to the extent that it does. So this is why it's so entrenched. We have the primary next Tuesday, and nothing will change other than we'll either become a little bit more progressive and a little bit more socialist, or stay about the same.
I got some other exciting legislation. I don't know if you've got anything, if you've picked out your favorite yet of what's bouncing around Springfield, but there's Kaler is Senator Kaler. He's sponsoring legislation, Senate Bill 1556, which mandates that two state regulators, the Illinois EPA and the Illinois Pollution Control Board, establish a clean transportation standard and reduce the use of carbon-based fuels by Illinois drivers on our roads. The two agencies would assign state-mandated deficits to fossil fuels like gasoline and diesel, which for consumers means they will pay more every time they put those products in their vehicles. Good. He's sort of flying information with Kam Buckner, eliminating carbon-emitting modes of transportation when it comes to delivering food. This is wonderful. Now, this will increase the cost of gas in the state, but, to save the planet. Oregon, the examples provided by a trade association here, Retail Fuel and Retailer Association. Oregon clean fuel mandates added 7 cents a gallon to a gallon of gas. Washington State expects its per gallon gas, of course, to soar 40 cents per gallon in the next decade. The average cost of gasoline in California now is $4.87 per gallon. And in point of fact, Illinois topped California for the highest taxes on gas already, because, of course, under Governor Jellybelly, we doubled the state's gas tax, and then it's indexed for inflation. So, we're going to chase down California, is what I'm hearing from the Kam Buckners and the David Kalers, and this is all good.
Yeah, we've hit that issue so much. When Pritzker doubled the gas tax, that was one. You said he indexed it to inflation, which is another. And what most people don't know is that we have two taxes on gasoline in Illinois.
How about a third? Let's make a third.
Let's make it a third. And so we have this sales tax on it, where as the gas prices go up, the tax goes up. So now let's add on more. It's just another, it's just add it to the list of crazy things that we're doing now that will chase out people, and then, of course, increase the welfare state, and then we'll just be in that spiral that we're in right now.
Well, the taxes could go to support Jawaharial Williams's legislation. This is, for those of you again scoring at home, that's House Bill 4929. That would amend Illinois' insurance code, provides that a group or individual policy of accident and health insurance or managed care plan that is amended, delivered, issued, or renewed on or after January 1st of next year shall provide coverage or reimbursement for gym memberships. It's the gym full employment program. It's the gym backdoor bailout. The coverage or reimbursement required under the provisions is $50 a month. So now we're going to mandate $50 a month rebate from your health insurance provider as it pertains to your gym membership. That won't quite cover the cost at East Bank, but maybe at some other places. And we can use the money that we're saving from, the money that we're taxing from on gas to fund the gym memberships that allow people to walk or ride a bike when they deliver food. You see how it all fits together?
Yeah. Just tie it all together.
Yeah. I mean, they're really thinking this is what we call comprehensive lawmaking, Ted.
We're good at it. Now, what's interesting too is that insurance is no longer insurance. It's just got embedded a bunch of fixed fees in it that we pay for. So we forget the word insurance.
And how about the Bear Stadium? We got to mention that. So the Bears now looking at that south parking lot for a dome stadium. It cost $5 billion, and maybe looking for $2 billion in financing from the state. Combined with the White Sox need $1 billion, and all of a sudden I'm hearing word out of Springfield that the Democrats are softening to the idea of taxpayer underwriting of a new Bear Stadium, because of course you want to keep them in Chicago. I assume season ticket packages will be in the deal for legislators. And then White Sox is the same deal. Let's combine the ask into one big deal. Let's run the old Sports Finance Authority. Everybody's a winner. The Lakefront, the South Loop, and Chicago and Illinois. I mean, except the taxpayers.
What could go wrong, right? What could go wrong?
Yeah.
So the Bears were saying, hey, they'll chip in $2 billion. Which means that there's a whole bunch more to be spent, right? Because if they're saying they'll chip in and they want to make it, quote, a public-private investment. And it doesn't include the White Sox in that. So at some point, the White Sox are going to have to say, well, here's our bit that we want in too. And the question is, and I think you had somebody on the show the other day, these investments in stadiums from a public perspective are not good. And we don't know eventually what happens, but this is, again, just more and more of the making the state, meaning the taxpayers, pay more and more of these burdens for some people to enjoy. I mean, it's really cool, right? I mean, everybody'd love to have a great indoor stadium in Chicago. I mean, some people want the outside, but here you go again, more public debt, more taxes, and it just keeps adding up. And
we still owe a $500 million for the first Bears project that took place 20 years ago. And now, according to the Sun-Times, they're urging the Bears to consider Michael Reese Hospital site for the Dome Stadium to avoid any lakefront legal battles. Such drama.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, maybe if the city threw in, they could co-locate one of those Gimme Dad grocery stores that Brandon Johnson's going to set up, and maybe put a Gimme Dad gym next to it. Some Gimme Dad housing for the migrants.
Really big ones.
Yeah. I mean, I see the master plan coming into focus. This is exciting times. Ted Dabrowski, President Wirepoints, wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Thanks, Ted.
You guys have a great day.
Thanks, you too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Do you own a business? Are you aware that your business could be hijacked right from under you without your knowledge? Yes, hijacked. Here's how. Fraudsters pretend to be owners and officers of your company by filing false statements of information with